This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. It is time for
Vikes Bites.
Vikes Bites. And it's brought to you by Thousand Hills. What are you laughing at?
I love the Vikes Bites. It just gets me every time, I'm not going to lie.
Vikes Bites is presented by the great people at Thousand Hills, lifetime grazed, grass-fed beef. And you can shop online. Box of meat will show up at your doorstep, or you can go to your local Coburn's, Co-ops, Kowalski's locations. Thank you so much, Thousand Hills. You heard earlier in the show, J.J. McCarthy. Well, let's hear from the head coach, Alec Lewis, in studio. He was there for the presser. May have even asked a question or two, but here's Kevin O'Connell talking about his receiver group.
Thayer showed up to me. I think Lucky showed up. I think, we had a chance in the 2-minute to maybe end the drive on the first play there with Ty down the sideline on a double move. And, didn't get the call. I don't know if you can be fined for critiquing joint practice officials, so I'll just hold off on that. But thought it was a competitive play, and but some detail showed up from those guys, and thought across the board, threw a lot at them today, and they handled it well.
So the reason I started with that audio, and just you had mentioned like Thayer kind of stuck out to you at times. He was slithery, fingerprint proof at times. The Wolf of Walk-Ons, Mr. Thayer Thomas. But some things popping, not just with the wide receiver group, but whether it's Jalen Naylor's hand or it's the shoulder from Josh Metellus. Do you know when we can maybe expect updates on that? Can we get any concrete vibes? Did you see either injury, like just 10,000-foot view, everything you're thinking and everything you got in terms of Jalen Naylor and the injury to Josh Metellus yesterday?
Yeah, I'll just start with Naylor and the receiver situation. Before Jalen Naylor kind of sat the rest of yesterday's practice on the sidelines after jamming his hand, as O'Connell put it, I already felt like they needed a receiver after losing Rondale Moore to the season-ending knee injury, and just knowing that Justin Jefferson, I expect him to ramp up starting next week. Jordan Addison will be suspended for the first 3 games. And then we've talked about Jalen Naylor's inconsistent. Like, I already felt like they needed a receiver. And then Jalen Naylor went in during practice yesterday, and then I saw him after practice ended walk in. Didn't look like he was moving his left hand very much. Yeah. So I've sent some texts. Haven't really got a ton early today, but there has to be urgency to find someone. Now, the question you and the people listening to this are probably asking is like, who is out there to go find? There aren't a ton of available free agents. There are the bigger names, the Amari Coopers, the Tyler Boyds, the Gabe Davis. Of those 3, the one who makes the most sense to me is Tyler Boyd, because of his familiarity with a similar system, having been in Cincinnati with Zach Taylor, whose system hails from Los Angeles and Sean McVay. So that would be the one. Tyler Boyd's also represented by the same agency as Jalen Naylor. So that's the guy who would first come to my mind. I haven't been told anything related to it. You don't know how much he's worked out. He was in Tennessee last year. It wasn't the greatest year.
He's got 2 punt returns in his career, Alec.
Not a ton of punt return experience. And I will just say, as an addendum to this conversation, the punt return situation is not pretty. Lucky Jackson didn't return punts in college at Western Kentucky, hasn't ever done it in the NFL. Miles Price muffed a punt yesterday.
Lucky three preseason returns last year, 12, 12, and 13.
Yeah, it doesn't do much for me.
Agreed. I'm with you on that, but it's not a complete zero.
Okay, well, if that's the route they want to go, is have a guy who's never returned a real NFL punt.
I know what you mean.
Back there, that is bold. Miles Price, undrafted.
You don't have to get mad at me.
I'm not mad. I'm just because if at some point
Brian and Sarah like you, so we're okay.
If at some point later in this season, it's like, man, the punt returners have been such an issue. It's like, yeah. And we knew way back then it could be an issue. So you're trying to.
But when has it not been an issue?
Well, and that's the point that I'm trying to make is you would hope at this point, having seen what it's been like on special teams for 3 years, you would have fixed this. Now,
so
again,
Brandon Powell will be back. He's still on the straight.
And Brandon Powell doesn't do a ton for me. He doesn't muff the ball, which I guess is rise to a certain level, but he also doesn't give you anything in that phase other than not negative. So Miles Price, undrafted player, muffed a punt yesterday. Silas Bolden doesn't feel like they've loved, the staff has just been overjoyed with what they've seen from him.
From who?
With Silas Bolden.
Yeah.
And so that the receiver situation, punt returner, like major question for me right now. As far as Josh Metellus, it was a crazy end to the 2-minute for the Patriots. Drake May throws a Hail Mary. Josh Metellus is trying to track it. Didn't track it effectively, fell on his left arm. Kevin O'Connell called it a shoulder. He didn't look like he was moving it a ton walking off the practice field yesterday, but I also don't think it's going to be something that's crazy long term.
Okay.
So, that would be that. I don't have a ton of intel on that right now, but it's just kind of my feel there.
Yeah, he told us it was a little shoulder.
But the receiver punt return situation, that is like 1A right now for just like where this roster needs supplanting.
I can't find it, Nordo. You know what I'm looking for. Big deal.
What am I looking for?
Just thinking about punt returning and potentially having Brandon Powell back on the team.
Oh,
Ryan Wright
there we go.
facing
Yeah.
a big rush with a high punt. Britton Coovey floats to the right side. He'll give it a roll from the 8, sprints to the 15. Tripped up. He dropped it at the 10. It's bounding the belt. But the Eagles have recovered it.
Oh, no. All right, 3-2.
You get it?
Yeah, I mean, he's still out there. Think about it. Like Alec said, you just want somebody who can catch it and not muff it. And as Alec said, Brandon Powell would be one of those candidates.
Snap to Sippos. Awful punt. Brandon Powell runs up on it at the 46, shakes the tackle at the 47, sprints right to the 50. He's at the Eagles 45, to the 40. He dropped it, and the Eagles got it. Come on, man. Powell dropped it, and the Eagles recovered it at the 27. We went -3 in the take.
Game was a little charged if you don't recall.
Okay, well,
chance you don't recall.
On the other end of it, though, Brandon Powell.
Snap to Barry. Brandon Powell back into return punt.
Barry
runs up on it and makes a Viking miss at the 40. Now he's to the 50 far side. He's to the 40. Brandon Powell is gone! 61-yard punt return touchdown for the LA Rams.
When was that?
And it's Brandon Powell with the first punt return
in the
touchdown
preseason?
No, regular season.
That
It was the Super Bowl winning year for the Rams. And see, they had to play because of the quirky schedule and cancellations and all that. They played a Tuesday game against like the Buffalo Bills, and then they came here on a Sunday, and they put Van Jefferson, who was a rookie from Florida, and he was a 4-2, all about a 4-2 guy. They faked jet sweeps with him 13 times that game. And they kept running the veteran running back off tackle that year.
Was it Sony Michel?
Sony Michel. Thank you. Well done.
And then some Henderson cat, maybe.
Sony Michel off tackle with these slow rolling bits. But Jefferson kept getting Kendricks and Hitman to cheat that way because he was so fast. So then I meet Kevin O'Connell for the first time at the Combine the next year. And it's like God's cartoon character couldn't wait to say to him, it's like, hey, nice to meet you. You faked the jet 13 times on a short week. Didn't give it to Van one time. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
He was looking at me like
that's great. But Brandon Powell and that audio clip was also great, but I didn't see it in the last 3 years. So
why was it Christmas Eve at Cincinnati? No, okay, anyway. Right.
Savage.
Right.
Vikes Bites.
Speaking of savage.
Right.
Let me get one more in before we pause. You mentioned we went through Brosmer Mania earlier in the show, but here's KO talking about just kind of a plan for all 3 QBs not named J.J. McCarthy going into tomorrow's game.
We have a plan in place. All 3 of those guys will play. But I absolutely, having been a victim of the clock before, being told what my day would look like as a player, and then it did not look like that. So I want to be aware of, that all 3 will play. They'll know kind of the general plan. I think it's important to articulate that, help guys get ready to play, but then we got to be ready to adjust as the game comes to us.
Powell's clearly the backup unless there's some sort of weird, just absolute apocalyptic style meltdown from him. Would there be any chance maybe Brosmer gets the second up chance? You think anything about that?
No, I still think. I think they felt like Brett Rippon last week was kind of. It would have looked so much better had he completed the pass to Jayshon Jones down the right sideline that Jayshon probably should have caught. And had that pass been caught, then, we'd probably be talking about Brett Rippon as well. No, Sam Howell feels like the backup. Sam has looked really good over the last week.
Right. Yesterday,
there was a play in the 2-minute where he floats to his left and he just flicks it 40 yards down the field and I can't remember who the receiver was, but just drops it right in the bucket. And that's the arm talent that we've all seen that a lot of people have talked about. Just the Brosmer thing for me is the way they talk about his smarts and his ability to see the field and all that stuff, it's just for a young player like that to let that go would be difficult.
Now, for the simulcast, but for the purposes of FM 100.3 KFAN and the vast and ever expanding Minnesota Vikings audio network, and the simulcast on the Niner, Kevin O'Connell joins the broadcast for the entire third quarter tomorrow. If you missed it last year, part of it sounded like this.
Hey, PA, check this out. Probably going to try a screen here to Debo. Get back on track down, see if we can execute. Got to block 57 will be the key.
McBride, screen right.
We not only blocked him, we probably held him a little bit, but they didn't call it.
Oh, look at McBride.
There we go. How about that?
McBride toe-tapping the sidelines.
Yeah, and you can see 57 looked right at the official come on, man. You didn't call that hold.
That's going to be tomorrow. Jonathan Grenard joins us for some of the fourth quarter, and that's all tomorrow at noon. Alec Lewis, The Athletic, theathletic.com, is with us, thanks to Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. And when we return, what exactly led to J.J. McCarthy's turnaround joint practice-wise yesterday? And Donovan Jackson, he also was polarizing the last 2 days. Those topics and a few more with YA when 9 to noon continues on KFAN. Do you think we will be dealing with the virtual measurement this weekend?
You love the virtual measurement system.
Well, I waited for it all last game, then it happened, and I think it was during the Jefferson quarter with us. So
I think I was asleep during that quarter.
It's not just a preseason experiment. I have the same Post-it note from last week, so I'm just making sure things are pertinent. They tested it for 2 years, 6 cameras at every stadium. Ball is spotted. The cameras triangulate the ball. Measurement revealed. The chains still are on the sideline, and there's supposed to be a brief delay after the spot, and then we get the answer. So at some of these games, it wasn't a brief delay. It was like 2.5 minutes. I don't remember what it was at U.S. Bank Stadium, maybe a minute and change. It was longer than I would imagine they wanted, but the virtual measurement.
It's probably the point in the game where I was walking around getting a new cup of Coke or something. Mm-hmm. Popcorn, maybe.
Okay, so where would you like to begin? This is dealer's choice.
It's like the Vikings, one of their practice script periods is dealer's choice period.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I don't know. It's like 2nd and 10, and 3rd and 6. Yeah,
well, that's
the
pretty
dealer's
cool.
choice. Yeah.
Okay, so the choices would be McCarthy's best practice was yesterday. What went into it? Donovan Jackson caught fire yesterday. What went into it? Or the offensive side of the newest 53-man projection. This is version 2 from Alec Lewis at The Athletic and theathletic.com. Which would you prefer?
Donovan Jackson.
So Donovan Jackson, it's where the exclusive Vikings radio network perch is located. The military field binoculars are not required because it's right in front of us. And Wednesday, I don't know if you caught it or not, but that's where they start with those one-on-ones, O-line and D-line. Those things are the bomb. Milton Williams, okay? So, yeah, I saw him in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I knew who he was. I'd never been that close to him. He's bigger than I thought, twitchier. He's the bomb. Very, very well done, New England Patriots, to outbid about 5 others to make sure you get him. So he should be pretty good. So he got twitchy around Donovan a couple of times and just kind of like fake, whatever, and got around him. After that Wednesday, most of them were stalemates. So Donovan of the quick learning variety. Yesterday, what did you see and what did you like from Donovan Jackson?
Yeah, it was a lot against Milton Williams and Christian Barmore. Both guys can be dynamic. And I just felt like from afar, on Thursday was probably Donovan Jackson's best day of camp from a pass pro perspective. And it probably dovetails with the unit as a whole. Like, I felt like part of the reason JJ was so good yesterday was because the pass pro was as locked in as they are. And that's always how it works. And you always focus on the quarterback and never on pass protection, or rarely on pass protection until it goes bad. But Donovan Jackson, I mean, that's the thing with him is like there are technical aspects that he's had to develop and going to continue to have to develop, but he doesn't lose a ton quickly or has improved in terms of how rarely he's losing quickly, and that's been critical. And then, like in the screen game, one of the things about this offensive line compared to the last few years is in the screen game, when these guys get out, they have, I don't know if it's like football awareness or acumen to be able to adapt on the fly at a level that the previous interior offensive line here has not had the ability to do. So just felt like Donovan had a really good day yesterday, and the O-line did as a whole, and that's just going to be absolutely critical for this team to reach, I think, the standard that they hope to reach.
Emphasis on the word screen.
Yeah.
And Nordo with StatHead via Pro Football Reference, you with whatever analytical bits that you have where you guys come up with these answers. Quick
True
twitch.
Media.
True Media for sure? Mm-hmm. I probably could figure it out. But like last year, screening. Okay, I know they screened, but I mean, does it feel like it was a lot? And the reason I ask is because whether it's in practice, the Texans game, joint practices, or probably this weekend, I mean, it's getting to the point where if it looks like a screen and it smells like a screen and we're smelling that smell a lot, they're probably going to screen a lot during the regular season. Do you see it that way?
Yeah, it's an astute point by you. It's something I've noticed for weeks now. Just feels not only like the designs are a little different, a little more creative, but again, I just want to underscore, like, in the previous iterations of this interior offensive line, when they get out in space, when they've gotten out in space, it hasn't been fluid. Doesn't feel like their landmarks are perfect. Their ability to target defenders hasn't been great. And you have guys in Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Donovan Jackson who, like, you hope that they bring a ruggedness to them that you haven't had, but it's also an awareness on the fly. And that's so much a part of that play. And it's also, I was talking to Ben Lieber about this, and it was great. He's like,
is that the podcast?
It was the podcast, the Alec Lewis show on everywhere you get your podcasts, including the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah.
But Ben said to me, opposing coordinators often look at the young quarterback and they're like, we just want to heat this guy up. And what is one way to counteract heating a guy up is to replace wherever the heat's coming from with a screen. And so it feels like they've put a lot of work from a staff perspective into these plays, knowing that they have the tools and the bandwidth now to be able to execute them at a level that maybe they haven't in years past. It's an extension of the run game, which I view alongside the front on the defense as the scaffolding for this team. The run game and the front seven. To me, that is the scaffolding for this team to allow JJ and this offense to come along at the speed that they need to come along to peak at the end of this season.
If you are of the belief that, if you look at Jordan Mason with San Francisco, and still kind of surprised they got him for the compensation for which they got him, and I actually believe people within the 49ers organization with whom Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is close, they were in a situation. And it's like the Vikings sniffed out the situation, were first to get in there, and they traded him. I don't think, with that said, they probably looked at it like, we can't get much more, so let's just do this because of this Guerendo cat, who does catch it. I think he's into his second year. Catches it, and he's fast. Maybe Isaiah or Isaac Guerendo, whatever. So nevertheless, we get Mason. So then you get into the pass catching aspect of it. He doesn't have any receiving touchdowns. I think as long as 24. No idea if and or when they screened with him. watching Jordan Mason in the joint practices in some of these catching drills, it's not Adrian Peterson mechanical. But it's just not fluid. You know what I mean?
No, but that's why Aaron Jones is an exceptional pass catcher. I mean, you saw the downfield throw yesterday, and a lot of the screens that they've executed have been to Aaron Jones. I mean, Jordan Mason, if I'm not mistaken, has like 18 career catches. Maybe last year he had 14 catches. So it's never going to be the bread and butter of what he does. Though when he does get out in space, his vision, and you see this from the press box, like Jordan Mason's vision is the most underrated aspect of his abilities. He's big, but he sees holes and sees cuts in a way that I'm not sure if you can even teach. So
no, we've seen it at the joints when like the passing offense was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, a delay to Mason, finds the right hole, chunks for 27, and everything's calm.
And he just he will find the fourth cutback on a mid-zone run where he presses the edge, and then somehow he doesn't cut into the B gap, doesn't cut into the A gap, the opposite A gap, the opposite B, and somehow he finds 8 yards, and that's just efficiency, and that's their goal for the run game. But again, I can't say it enough. The run game is going to be so crucial, and the front seven, those to me have to be the tentpole parts of this team early on for this thing to go the way they want it to go.
Alec Lewis, The Athletic, theathletic.com, courtesy of Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. You can learn more about, is it episode 101?
103.
Episode 103 of The Alec Lewis Show. Ben Lieber, our beloved Nacho Lieber, most recently was the guest. It's The Alec Lewis Show via X or at Alec_Lewis. That posted August 14th. Final segment after this.
And the fan.
I can't wait.
All right, do know that at the Friday football feasts, Buffalo Wild Wing style, maybe even beginning Friday, September 5th, this will be about the time, Nordo. Alec pulls us to the side into the final break before the final segment and says, guys, I got, KO's doing this background thing, and I got to leave, man, because so we'll probably be doing the final segment or maybe the final half hour of some of these Friday football feasts together.
It's not every week.
Not every week, but some of them. Now, with your projected 53, all right, version 2 at The Athletic and theathletic.com, hit NFL, find Vikings, and then you'll find all of Alec Lewis's stories.
Well, when he leaves early, can we just read through his subscriber? We could just use his content for a final segment or something like that.
What would make Friday any different than Monday through Thursday?
Most valuable subscription I've ever had in my life.
I think they keep 10 offensive linemen. Yeah, you have it at 9.
And who's the 10?
Joe Huber.
Really?
Yes, I like Joe Huber to make the team. Three tight ends. Yep. 4 running backs, including C.J. Ham. Yep. So how much, like this weekend, Ty Chandler, Xavier Scott, they're both going to play a lot, I would imagine. What do you think about that whole situation right there?
I mean, I'll say this. Like Ty Chandler, every time he's got the ball in his hands, it is dynamic, and it is aggressive, and he runs hard, and that's never been the issue. It's always been like pass protection. Can you hold up? Just consistency over time. And on Saturday, Xavier Scott didn't have a great pass protection rep either. So those are
Saturday,
this past Saturday.
Yeah, the Texans. One rep. I don't know what he was doing. I mean, it was just standing straight up, a quick little check.
Right, and that just can't happen if he's going to continue to garner the confidence of the people internally. So
nice find.
As much as Xavier Scott was great last Saturday as a runner, and his vision does impress. Watching their pass pro reps, which is as in the weeds as a Saturday afternoon between the Patriots and the Vikings second, third teams could get. Yeah. It's an important aspect of tomorrow.
Right. And see that, when Kevin O'Connell joins the simulcast for the third quarter, that's something he legitimately will be looking for is, maybe they're, I don't know, say it's Brett Rippon or Brosmer, they take a sack and now it's whatever and 13. And
weighty down,
no doubt, specifically when you're in the high red and you're trying to get points for your local fans.
Preach.
So with that said, that's something for which he will be looking, you will be looking, and the audience will be looking, because we'll bring it up for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's that for me tomorrow, like punt returning, what's going on, punting in general. I just don't feel like I've got a great read of where Ryan Wright's at. And I mean, again, and this is not to, special teams is what it is, but if I'm not mistaken, 2 out of the last 3 years, they have been a bottom 3 special teams unit by most like overall metrics. It just is what it is. And I say it all the time. You know it. Nordo, you know it. The people driving around, listening right now, they know it. Winning these games means winning on the razor thin margins. And oftentimes that is field position on special teams and just execution in that phase that can allow you to win those margins. Mm-hmm. And it's an area of this team that if they have the expectation that they have, if I'm not talking about, I don't know if I'm doing the job as well as I want to do it.
You know who was last year in punt and kick return metric?
Probably the Patriots.
No, the Eagles.
I always love that one.
I'm just kidding.
I don't think that's accurate.
All right, in closing.
I don't even think that's accurate.
It isn't. In closing, with Alex second, here's what I think the 53 is going to look like with the right to change the opinion. University of Minnesota Gopher fans, go crazy and relax. He has your guy on the active roster. Sky Yuma, Max Rosemer. Sky Yuma. Brosmer on the active 53, you say?
Yeah, I mean, the other day I saw Ron Johnson out there dapping up Max Brosmer, and I'm like, I don't know when I joined the Gopher beat, but here we are. No, Brosmer is he's just been good.
You put him on the practice squad, you're worried about losing him.
I have had I'll say this.
For some, it's Bryson Nesbitt. For others, it's Max Brosmer.
I have had texts from people around the league.
Don't sleep on Nesbitt.
About Max Brosmer. Who is this guy? Why does he look that way?
How is Kellen Moore?
There are people around the league who have been interested. So this is what I'm going to say.
Thank you for co-hosting the feast today. Appreciate you, brother, and have a good weekend. I'll see you tomorrow,
guys.
okay?
Always fun.
Alec Lewis, The Athletic, and TheAthletic.com. Steve's Appliances, Brian and Sarah, thank you very much for the aid. For Eric Nordquist, who is doing Vikings Fan Line tomorrow about an hour after the game, right?
Hell yeah, I am.
Vikings Fan Line with RJ Ron Johnson after the post-game show and stuff like that tomorrow. And the metaphorical boom takes place at noon. Vikings and Patriots tomorrow. That's when we will next speak, actually at 10 a.m. for Vikings Football Sunday. But anyway, everybody have a nice weekend. God bless. Bye.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.